I talked about Bitcoin. Actually, that's the top viewed video on the channel at the moment. We did a video called Michael Saylor, the guru of Bitcoin. Is he a gambler or is he a genius? Well, at the end of the video, if you all watch that, I claimed him to be a genius. I think he is. I think he's onto something that a lot of people are agreeing with, and I'm certainly agreeing with it. And then I will share what MicroStrategy did. In fact, last week I said I'm buying the July August 3,000 calls, and they've handsomely rewarded that decision, obviously. Um, this is Elon Musk, which is another genius in his own way, right? A lot of people like him, a lot of people dislike him, but I think that he's a mad genius. I mean, look what he's been able to accomplish with Tesla, with SpaceX, with Boring Company. And I mean, it's endless. I don't know when this guy sleeps, but all kudos to him, right? So on this one, Elon is talking about the Fed. Well, I did rant about on a video this week about the Fed and what you guys. I'm going to do a lot more of that. What I think they're doing to this country, what kind of injustice they're doing to the American people with their monetary and fiscal, well, monetary policy, obviously, that's connected to the fiscal policy that we have all going in Washington, right? I mean, these politicians, right? They haven't seen a dollar they don't like to spend. And whose dollar is that? It's not their dollar, it's your dollar. And in order to keep spending, we have to keep printing. Well, they don't actually print anymore. They add zeros to the ledger, which what the Federal Reserve Jerry Powell said actually on a 60-minute interview, which you all can find on the internet. So going back to this topic, analysts urge Bitcoin, gold, silver as a buy as Elon Musk critiques Fed's money printing. Hell yeah. Elon Musk likens Fed's money policy to monopolies, endless bank funds. Absolutely 100% agree. That's what we do, right? In monopoly, the bank never will go bankrupt, ever. Okay. And so basically, at the moment, okay, just because we are the world's chosen currency, leading currency, and it's been like that for a long, long time. And we just are able to print. And I look at it as us, the US, a much bigger version of Greece. Okay. Can Greece keep printing money or create more drachmas, which is their currency? No. We are probably one of the top or one of the 2 or 3 countries on the planet that our system is set up to print money nonstop, keep inflating, keep adding to the money supply, right? And where does that money go? Well, it gets spent, and then it goes back into the 34, close to getting $35 trillion in national debt, right? Well, I agree with Elon Musk, 1,000,000%, right? Elon Musk he tweeted it, likening the ability of the Federal Reserve to create money to the rules of monopoly game has initiated quite a discussion. Yeah, let's talk about it. According to the monopoly rule, in case the bank runs out of cash, players can use slips of paper to continue the transactions, thus creating a sense of limitless ability to generate money. And that's what the Fed does. Limitless, endless money. And what does that create? Well, that creates inflation that's hurting all of our pocketbooks. And because the simple explanation of inflation, which I'm going to talk about on the next topic, is what? Too much money chasing too few goods. And that's exactly what has happened to housing. That's exactly what has happened to everything we buy on a daily basis. Well, there we go. So this analogy points to the fears of Fed monetary policy, of course, particularly against the backdrop of persisting economic problems. I agree. The Federal Reserve has employed quantitative easing, which are QE, and now, since inflation is out of control, they're going to something to QT, which is called quantitative tightening. They're not even tightening; they're pumping money still, in which it requires securities to pump money into the economy. That's QE, right? They acquire securities, mortgage-backed bonds, their own treasuries, from willing sellers to add money to the economy. That's called the money supply. And now that they said they're going to do QT, they're going to lower the balance sheet to combat inflation by also raising interest rates from 0 to 5%. You know, is it working? Does it look like it's working? Well, the inflation report came out. The markets liked it. Why? I mean, we're running. This is simply put, if you had $100, okay, you're losing 7% of that $100 each year in 12 years. If you 12 years ago, if you had $100, today it's worthless. Okay, so all of this goes back to why I think Bitcoin is, with a finite amount of 21 million total circulation, is a valid, strategy to have everybody's 10% of their wealth at least in Bitcoin. I mean, now that the threat of the government basically completely getting rid of Bitcoin, now that BlackRock is in it and Fidelity is in it and all these massive companies, and we see what's happening all to these ETFs, billions and billions of dollars are pouring into these. I think the government is scared that something will happen, is out of the way, and we're seeing what happened to Bitcoin this week, right? 61,000 to now 67,000, and probably on a breakout, it'll be 110 pretty shortly. And here's the tweet. I mean, the guy talks it the way he sees it. Rising U.S. debt, which I talked about on the last Power Hour, and we put a video out, is not a good thing. It's just not. The U.S. budget deficit reached 1.7 trillion in fiscal 2023. How's that happen, people? Okay, we have GDP, okay, gross domestic product, and people make money, supposedly, right? We pay taxes, and that goes to the government. Well, the difference between the tax receipts, and this is what at stock market, by the way, and most of the tax receipts come from rich people selling their stocks, like Jeff Bezos sold $5 billion worth of stock. He has to pay long-term capital gains on it. That's where the money is coming from. It's not coming from your W-2 paycheck, you think, as much as it is. So we create a budget. The budget is what? Let's say $4 trillion this year. Well, the income, the tax receipts are only 2.3 trillion. Well, that's how you create a 1.7 trillion budget deficit, okay? And it's projected to hit 2.6 trillion by 2034. So every year, and that's how we got up to $34 trillion national debt now. And the problem with that is our GDP is not accelerating, right? But the debt is. So the debt held by the public is on track to reach a record 106% of GDP by 2028. That's around the corner, people. That's 4 years from now. So my opinion, Fed, my suggestion, stop printing, stop hurting the average American by creating inflation, and end this madness. Do I agree with Elon Musk that the Fed is like, playing Monopoly? They will never go bankrupt because they have the ability to add zeros to their ledger or print money? Absolutely. You guys start, can you do this with your household budget? Okay. You have, let's say, 4,000 a month budget, right? To pay your rent and to pay your car note, insurance, eat food, go out, buy clothes, whatever. Well, your spending is $5,000 a month. Where are you going to get that $1,000, right? Well, as a household budget, right? We can't do that. We have to have a budget, and we have to stick to that budget. But somehow the U.S. government doesn't see that as being a problem, right? Because they can print and issue more debt, and that basically is IOU, right? They create money out of thin air and spend it because their budget is upside down. How is it that I'm supposed to stick to my budget, but the U.S. government doesn't have to? And the other thing is, if I did that, I'll be broke. I'll be in the poorhouse. I'll be bankrupt. Okay? So my point is, have a budget, stick to your budget, because we cannot add zeros to our bank accounts. We just can't, right?